Welcome, class. Dr. Kem here. Let's jump right into today's explainer on the absolute superhero of modern analytical techniques, supercritical fluid chromatography, or SFC. Now, as chemistry, biotech, and pharma students, you already know the everyday lab workhorses, gas chromatography and HPLC. But today, we're exploring an advanced separation technique that brilliantly bridges the gap between the two, giving us unmatched speed, incredible efficiency, and a massive win for green chemistry. Here's a quick look at our syllabus for today. 1. Meet SFC. 2. The principles of SFC. 3. Inside the SFC instrument. 4. SFC versus HPLC and GC. And 5. Real-world SFC applications. Let's kick things off with Section 1. Meet Supercritical Fluid Chromatography. To really grasp SFC, we have to talk about its unique mobile phase. A supercritical fluid is this amazing state of matter that happens when a substance is pushed above its critical temperature and critical pressure. It's wild. It stops being a true gas or a true liquid. Instead, SFC uses a supercritical fluid, almost always carbon dioxide, which gives you the low viscosity and high diffusivity of a gas, combined with the solvent power of a liquid. So it dissolves compounds just like a liquid, but sweeps through a packed column with the speed and ease of a gas. And what's really cool is how easily carbon dioxide reaches this state. We are talking about a critical temperature of just 31.1 degrees Celsius and a critical pressure of 73.8 bar. You don't need extreme environmental conditions to pull this off. Plus, since CO2 naturally reverts to a regular gas at standard room temperature and pressure, recovering your purified samples at the end of a run is an absolute breeze. Moving right along to Section 2, the principles of SFC. The core principle here is going to feel pretty familiar if you know your HPLC. Your compound separates based on a dynamic tug-of-war. It's balancing its specific interactions with the stationary phase of the column against its solubility in that supercritical CO2 mobile phase. That continuous partitioning back and forth is exactly what determines your retention time. But here's where it gets fun. In SFC, you have incredible, precise control over retention time, selectivity, and resolution by adjusting a few key operational variables. Unlike HPLC, where you mostly tweak solvent gradients, supercritical fluids are highly compressible, so changing the system pressure or the column temperature literally changes the density of the fluid. Change the density, and you instantly change its solvating power. Combine that with your mobile phase flow rate and modifier concentration, and you have some seriously powerful tools to optimize your separation. Now about those modifiers. Pure supercritical CO2 is basically nonpolar. That's awesome for nonpolar compounds. But what if your target is highly polar? Well, adding a small amount of a polar modifier, usually something like methanol or ethanol, completely changes the game. Injecting that co-solvent instantly expands your chemical space, improving the separation and allowing you to easily isolate highly polar pharmaceutical substances that pure CO2 just couldn't handle on its own. All right, Section 3, let's take a look under the hood at the SFC instrument. A lot of this hardware mirrors HPLC. We have an injector, a chromographic column inside a column oven, and a detector, which could be UV, FID, ELSD, or a mass spec, all hooked up to a computer data system to record those beautiful chromatographs. But because we're working with CO2, we also need a CO2 cylinder and chiller, high-pressure pumps, including a specific modifier pump, and the real MVP, the back pressure regulator. This component sits at the end of the line and keeps the entire system above that critical 73.8 bar pressure limit, ensuring the CO2 stays supercritical the entire time. Inside that column oven, analysts have a massive toolbox of stationary phases. Depending entirely on your application, you might use bare silica, amino, or cyano phases. You can use C18 columns, which you'd normally only see in reversed phase HPLC. And, as we'll see in a minute, SFC is absolutely famous for its compatibility with highly specialized chiral stationary phases, which are lifesavers for separating optical isomers. Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, SFC versus HPLC and GC. How does it actually stack up? Well, SFC gives you much faster analysis and higher efficiency than HPLC. That's because the super low viscosity of supercritical CO2 allows for way higher flow rates without blowing out your system's pressure limits. And compared to GC, SFC is perfect for compounds that are thermally labile, meaning they just burn up in a GC oven, or compounds that simply aren't volatile enough to be vaporized in the first place. Plus, removing your solvent post-run is practically effortless. Of course, we have to keep it real. There are limitations. SFC instruments have a much higher upfront equipment cost. Operating under such high pressure can be complex, and because the fluid is compressible, method transfer and reproducibility can sometimes be a headache. Also, even with modifiers, SFC can still struggle a bit with ultrapolar analytes, where traditional liquid chromatography might still be your best bet. But honestly, you just can't ignore the environmental and economic benefits. Running a modern SFC system can give you up to a 94.2% reduction in organic solvent consumption compared to traditional normal phase liquid chromatography. Think about the massive reduction in hazardous waste and chemical costs. For labs leaning into green chemistry, this is a total game changer.
Finally, Section 5, Real-World SFC Applications.
Where is this actually being used today? Basically, everywhere. In pharmaceutical analysis, it's crucial for drug development, quality control, impurity profiling, and stability studies. In lipid analysis, it's used to evaluate triglycerides, fatty acids, phospholipids, and edible oils. It's incredibly popular for natural product purification, isolating fragile, bioactive compounds like alkaloids, flavonoids, terpenoids, and essential oils straight from plants. And it is an absolute go-to for chiral enantiomer separations, resolving enantiomers with blazing speed in both the pharma and agrochemical industries.
Take a real-world example, comparing ibuprofen and its closely related molecule 4-isobutylacetophenone. Separating molecular structures this incredibly similar is notoriously tough. But by using an optimized stationary phase, the superior resolution of the supercritical mobile phase separates them beautifully. And because the CO2 just flashes off as a harmless gas when you collect your fractions, you can do this purification cleanly, even at the preparative gram scale.
Class, I'm leaving you with a homework assignment to wrap up our explainer today. When you are out there designing your future laboratory workflows, under what exact conditions are you going to actively choose SFC over HPLC or GC? I want you to really compare them. Think about how this rapid, highly efficient, and environmentally friendly technique solves the exact problems where HPLC might just be too slow or where GC might literally destroy your sample. Think on it. Until next time, keep experimenting and keep learning.